Yeah, let's do that.
Chloe, it is absolutely a pretty bottle. You're right about that, but it turned out tasty stuff.
Your own fucking
My
brother.
own brother. It just
And his buddy.
And Nigel,
I love you, dude, but you ain't got that kind of clout.
No, definitely not. It was getting dry last time. You drink water. I don't know what's going on.
Bad.
Yeah. Did you get water, by the way? You good? Okay.
I am good.
Well, here we are, man.
Here we are, dude.
Welcome everybody to the I Shower After Work podcast, first anniversary special. Cheers, my man.
Cheers, dude, all day long.
We made it, buddy. We made it.
We made it 52 episodes.
Right, 52 episodes. That was what we committed to when we started this thing, and John and I decided a long time ago we're going to keep on going, folks. So don't think this is the end of the road. This is just the beginning here.
Right.
I can't believe it, buddy. We're still here.
Yeah, and dude, we're still employed.
Yeah, haven't been fired. No divorces. Haven't been canceled yet. God knows if that's going to come up.
I haven't even had a talk to from my shop.
Neither
they
have
haven't
I.
said shit.
I only assume, and this might be just me hoping against hope, I only assume that enough sporadic people have listened, and the ownership and leadership know. I'm sure they've listened to a few of them to at least go, okay, he's not out there talking wild shit. Like, we talk some shit, but not negatively against our industry or our companies or anything like that.
No, we won't. I mean, every now and then we walk a fine line with talking a little shit about union, non-union, but I mean,
hey, welcome to the podcast. That's what it's going to be, right? So I'd like to say, man, if you don't mind me starting out here, congratulations, man. We made it a year.
Congratulations to you, good sir.
A lot of this has been your baby just as much as mine, and your technical support and knowledge and advice on getting this thing going have been, man, it wouldn't have happened without you, buddy.
Right back at you, man. I mean, you do so much of the creative side and coming up with these episodes and shit like that. Like, I'm not a creative writer. You do very, very well. Like, I'm happy to be the guy playing with the computers on the back end of this.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I think our skill sets have complemented each other here really well. And if nothing else, there was some concerns early on for, listen, everybody who's been with us the whole time, or you're just catching up and you're new to the podcast, you know, this could have gone the other way. We really didn't know what we were doing when we got started at all.
We had no fucking idea.
Yeah, like, we thought we kind of had a vague sort of idea, and we really, really didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, not at all. So it's the fact that it's gone in the right direction. It's turned out the way it has. We learned some lessons. We made a couple of mistakes. We had a couple of wins. It's been a fun year.
Right.
Now, as we said, it's been over a year because we got this process started before we actually started recording episodes, right? So,
yes, for sure.
Yeah, and one of these days we are going to get we're going to get some of the original recordings if John still has them. I'm sure he does. He's organized that way because this started on my deck out back here.
It did outside.
Outside on a lovely evening in like the early fall. Kids playing in the background. We could hear crickets and birds and cars.
It was
driving.
August.
Yeah, it was August? Oh, so we just had a nice cool day in August. Yeah. We tuned up out there, having a good time, thinking that was going to be obviously we're indoors now because the sound quality out there, we'll play it for you sometimes. Not only did we talk some wild shit that night, but the sound clips were garbage.
Oh God, it was horrible.
It was brutal.
It was horrible.
And then we moved from there to, I think we did 1 or 2 nights in my garage.
Yep, 2 nights.
2 nights in the garage, so 2 separate recording sessions in the garage. That was slightly better. We were indoors, a slightly more controlled environment.
Yeah, but it was getting chilly already.
Yeah, right. By the time we got there, it was like, it was sweater weather out there. My garage isn't all insulated and fancy, folks. It's concrete and stick walls.
I remember fucking sitting out there just shivering during one of the episodes. Just, oh my God.
Yeah. That's when we realized to move this whole process indoors. So, yes, man, congratulations. That is great. I wanted to, and folks, this is the anniversary special, so we're going to be talking a lot about the last year here. It's going to be an episode full of shout-outs, but let me first start with your daughter starting our tradition of having the 4 roses. It was here from the very first podcast, and I wanted to shout her out. God love her for that.
Yeah, Chloe, she did this thing. It was Father's Day last year, and she couldn't figure out. She had, of course, being over 21, they were up at Target looking for something for Father's Day, and they're all my kids were together. They were hunting the store, and Chloe walked into the walked into the liquor side of Target, and she comes out, and when I asked her about why she picked that one, because I've never drank that one, right, at home.
Neither did I.
I'm not a big, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these guys that drinks whiskey nightly, right?
Right. Not like me. I got what you're getting at, yeah.
Right.
I see what you're throwing down.
Yeah, well, some of us are, whatever. Anyway, I asked her, I'm like, why, how'd you pick this one? She's like, I thought the bottle looked pretty. I'm like, okay.
Listen, I'm going to get John to take a photo right now that he can send to his daughter and we'll put up on social medias.
Yeah, let's do that.
Chloe, it is absolutely a pretty bottle. You're right about that, but it turned out tasty stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And we do thank you for that, Chloe. It has been a big thing here. And I'm hoping, as I lean away to try to put the bottle down, man, who knows? One day this thing really takes off. If we ever got Four Roses as a sponsor, that would be crazy.
That'd be great, man. We do have a tradition. Anybody that is our guest, that they're on site. Now, we can't really do it for phone guests or
right.
long distance guests, but anybody that's on site at one of the two locations, we give them a bottle of Four Roses,
right,
as a token of appreciation, and that's what that's kind of spilled into. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's been an exception that we'll talk about later as we go through this a little bit here quick. So over this last year, and I'm sure you do too, I've got a few things that some people had asked me about that we hadn't brought up, just some recaps and follow-ups and stuff that I'll sporadically jump into here. What were some of your favorite parts of the last year, buddy? What did you enjoy?
Dude.
Or hate? I mean, it hasn't been Four Roses all the time, folks, let me tell you.
No, and you know, what I really, really like is what we've been able to do since we are good friends. We have been able to work well with each other and our personal lives, and we don't let this podcast encompass every single detail of what we talk to each other about.
Which was difficult at times.
It was pretty much at every time we get together, whatever we're doing, we do talk about some aspects of this, something that we thought of, or hey, let's do this.
It comes up every time.
But I like the fact that our lives don't solely revolve around it. You know what I mean?
Yes, it certainly filters its way into everything just a little bit, but it hasn't been the sole focus, like you say, of our friendship this last little while, right? It definitely hasn't been so.
Right. Well, and we seem to, when we've got personal shit going on, when there's family things that we're doing or we're taking trips or stuff like that, we accommodate each other, and we're like, okay, so perfect example, and I give you credit for this because you bent so much. You were the one that actually kind of, you took most of the brunt of this when I had my surgery, right, in July, and I was out, and I knew the surgery was coming, and I said to you, Jason, we've got to get some in the bank so that we're not doing this while I'm laid up after surgery. And you were all like, absolutely, man, let's do it. And I think we recorded like six
in a really short period of time just to cover that.
And I hurried and I pumped them. I got them all edited before my surgery, and
right,
like it was a mad dash. But
right, well, that's one of my tangents here too. It's come up more than once, a few times, where people had noticed some of the timeline discrepancies of when we recorded and when we release an episode. I'm like, hey, listen, we record a bunch sometimes and bank them up because we got lives, right? I agree, buddy. I'm happy with the fact that it's been able to work the way it was. And of course, yeah, be there for your surgery, all that. Like, absolutely. I'm glad it's worked out that way. I will remember that I banked a bunch of time going out there. Don't worry, it's in my head. You're going to spend a bunch of time in the East Side Job Trailer over the next couple of months.
Yep.
It's all good. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I'm happy with the way things have been. One of my favorite parts is some of just this small feedback. This is a small growing podcast, folks, so the feedback we get isn't like a big fancy one, right? But a few of them have been really great. I wanted to, as we go here, I'm going to just randomly shout out a couple.
Yeah.
Because a couple people said that they really liked those random tangents we go off on sometimes that had nothing to do with the episode.
Right.
They're like, that's some of my favorite parts. I'm like, yeah, mine too, kind of, actually. You wouldn't believe the ones we edit out that probably would get it canceled. Amy F. had asked, or just most recent episode, that I was going to the state fair to try to get some decorations and whatnot for the house and all that. And she's like, okay, so you didn't take the motorcycle to make your life easy and you took the truck. So like, give us a quick recap. What did you get? Not a fucking thing, Amy. We didn't buy a goddamn thing for the house. We were there for hours and hours eating food and having a good time and looking at all the crowd. We never ended up getting to that part of the fair. We didn't buy a single thing.
That's funny.
We came home with a couple of free shit stuff from booths, and I handed out a bunch of stickers trying to get people on the podcast. We didn't buy a thing. So sorry, I wish I had a better answer for you, Amy.
Oh, that's great.
That's great. On that note, man, we've had some fun experiences here. I really, really enjoyed our podcast as we've gone, but I especially enjoyed the episodes where we had guests.
Oh man, the guests were great.
Yeah, I had a really great time with that. We've had some really interesting people in who are willing to come in and give us some of their time and gets their voice out there. And
zero duds.
So yeah, zero duds. Yeah,
zero duds.
We did discuss this a number of times.
Yep.
So if you ever do get to be a future guest, folks, we're going to let you in on a little inside baseball here. We don't preface you by telling you if this sucks, we're not going to use it because we don't want you nervous while we're recording.
Right.
But we had a bunch of discussions about, should we say that to people? Because it's going to make them weird while they're on there trying to be extra or whatever the kids call it these days, right? So, no, we've been really lucky. Not a single dud. Everyone's had kind of a unique, fun perspective. So going through, I did laugh because as we talked about this, buddy, we both kind of forgot one each. And I'm kind of embarrassed of mine that I forgot.
Yeah.
We were talking about our guests that we had. So, I mean, we had Doug, we had Katie, we had Crispy.
Had Nick.
We had Nick, Mr. Furkovich. And then
Pete Heidinger.
Yeah, Pete Heidinger, yeah. And I'd forgot about, as we were discussing them, even though I was the only one on there, I blipped out Tiny Homes Atlantic, even though it was such a fun
your own fucking
my
brother.
own brother. It just
and his buddy.
And Nigel, for some reason that one just deleted from my brain. I don't know why. We were talking about, I'm like, oh yeah, Tiny Homes, like that was a great one. And then there's still one more, right? Is that everybody?
That's everybody.
That's everybody. Okay, good.
We were on Dave's podcast.
Dave, it was Dave's, yeah. So
and we put out our interview that Dave did with us.
Right, that's the one I was
as
thinking,
ours.
Yeah.
So I would love to have Dave on just as a guest. I think he's a really good dude and he's really supported. Let me take the time to give Dave a proper shout out. All right. Dave with the How to Podcast series. He's up in Canada. He is a great, great guy. You learn so much from listening to his stuff. I dove deep when we decided to start this thing. I'm like, I need to know where to start. I found him on Spotify and I started listening and started following, and the tips that he gave, I directly put in on the backside of this. And I know the tips that he gave, you actually used on the front side of this podcast.
I definitely did. Yep.
And being able to jump on his show and actually talk about our podcast and do stuff like that, that was weird.
It was weird. It was a lot of fun.
But it was great.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Shout Dave out. He's been a huge resource for us. That's the howtopodcast.ca. Dave is a great resource there. He's a fun guy. He does this just to support and try to promote new podcasts. He does it just out of fun. It's a great thing he does. This is a guy who's got, I think, is it 8 different
I think
podcasts?
He's down to 7 now.
7 now. Okay. This is a guy who, this is what he does after he's at work. He just podcasts.
Community events and all sorts of things too.
Yeah. We've had meetups where people asked us questions, gave us feedback. Yeah. Shout out Dave. You've been a fantastic resource. We love you, man. We hope for nothing but success for you going forward. So, so that's that. So on that note, buddy, all our guests were fantastic. They all had some fun things to say. They were interesting interviews.
Yep.
But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put you on the spot here because they won't let us get past it. Do you have a favorite, buddy?
I don't have a favorite.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite because one, a lot of them are our friends, right?
Yes.
So I'm not going to pick favorites between our friends. I let the numbers talk. I let the numbers talk.
Oh, wow. What a great way to let me off the hook. I was nervous about having to pick a favorite too, buddy. Okay. I was nervous about having to pick a favorite. So, okay. I am going to put you on the spot though. Just out of interest, did you have a gun to your head, buddy? Who did you have the most, we had fun with everybody, but who do you recall? Who's the most fun in your head? Like when you think about our interviews, who comes to mind real quick? I
really enjoyed talking to Katie.
Yes, Katie Devotee was very fun. Shout out Katie. Yeah,
she was such a natural on here. She flowed right with us. She's another construction chick. And she let me say something that was wildly kind of offensive, but she took it with stride.
And then took a call back from the same joke at the end. If you haven't heard Katie's episode, check it out. Katie's episode was a lot of fun. She did real good. Yeah,
it was fun.
I enjoyed everybody. I really enjoyed our buddy Doug. He was, not only because it was our very first interview, but Doug was well spoken, and we were still new, so we got off track a lot in the early days of this. And
he kept us on track, dude.
Yeah, our guest kept us on track. He called
He
back
really
to things,
did.
remembered what we were saying, said, "Oh no, don't let me get off." He was almost controlling at a couple of really key points and kept us in the right lane.
Yeah.
Shout out to Doug for doing that, because
Doug was great.
if that had gone bad, it might have soured us on having guests, and they have been some of our most productive, fun, enjoyable episodes. So,
and I will say, when I say that I enjoyed talking to Katie and Doug were probably my favorites. Don't take offense to this, Pete. Whatever you do.
Crispy was hilarious.
Crispy was great.
Hilarious.
Nick was a fucking riot.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody was great. But I put Katie and Doug as a tie.
Okay.
I enjoyed talking to Katie just because she was fun. She was a little playful banter. When I say I let the numbers talk for my all-time favorite.
Right.
I let the numbers talk, and that is Doug. Doug, we had the highest number of plays according to our player.
There you go. So let the numbers speak for themselves. All right. He was the highest number.
Almost double between him and Katie.
Okay. And Katie would have been second then on
Katie's
that? Okay.
Second. Yep.
All right.
Yep. 88 to, I think, 140. Almost double.
That's big. Okay. Right. So yeah, there you go. So if we let the numbers speak for themselves, that's what we're going to do. So no offense to everybody else. We loved having y'all as guests. Most of you are going to come back again, we hope, for a recap, another fun talk, right? Like everybody was so interesting that they definitely need to come back again, and people enjoyed all of them. Yep. That might have been also how many people they reached out to and said, "Hey, I'm on a podcast. Check it out."
Right.
And anybody who does listen and was thinking, like, oh, maybe I'd be on. I like listening to podcasts. I'd be good. Don't be nervous. All of these people, every single one of them, it was their first time on a podcast.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
A couple of them, I guarantee, had never listened to a podcast before.
Yep.
So don't ever be worried. If you're thinking you might be a fun guest, reach out to us. Let us know. We have a little pre-interviews where we'll talk to you. And yeah, we'll determine that. Don't think that you're not going to be fun just because you're nervous. We can help you be chill. It's all good. And if you're local, you can even come to one of the job trailers and do it with us live in person.
Yep. And I tell you what, man, like when you talk about nervous, I was nervous on Doug's interview. I was physically nervous with how that was going to go because I did not want it to go shitty.
Yeah, that was going to be a turning point on how we could handle ourselves and stay organized during that. And I'm glad. I agree. I was a little nervous myself, I admit. Yeah. So that's good. So can we call it? Can we say that is Doug the guest of the year?
Doug's the guest of the year.
Doug's the guest of the year. All right. So what I think is, buddy, why don't we get Doug on the phone here real quick and we'll let him know that.
All right.
What do you think?
All right.
Let me see. I should have been more prepared, folks.
So while Jason's getting this, I want to do a real quick shout out with the Buy Us a Beer widget. So, because Jason's got some cords to manhandle and things to happen and stuff like that. So we use the Buy Us a Coffee. It's actually the base name of it is Buy Me a Coffee. On our website, it's the widget that comes up, especially if you're on mobile and go to the isawpodcast.com website. It's the little widget in the bottom corner, and it says Buy Me a Beer. So when it comes to it's just a little donation that people have given us to support this little podcast and stuff like that. And I wanted just to give a quick shout out to everybody. It's the kind of the most important ones, the most influential ones, the ones that helped us out the most. Dave Campbell, you're right there. You were the very first one, man. Thank you so much. We love and appreciate it. But then there's Andrew Perkins, and then there's Crispy. Crispy, your donation
helped out a lot with the job trailer, buddy. It really did. Thank you.
It was huge.
Thank you.
Matthew O, Tiny Homes, boys, you guys rock. You will continue to rock. We're excited to see the things that they do in the future. Live Well RMT.
Yeah, Leanne. Shout out, Leanne. Yep. We love you. Thank you for everything you did. We appreciate you listening.
Creature of the Woodlands. Mr. Hagstrom, you're top notch. Thank you so much. Ashley Smith. Now this one's a little skewed because she is my wife, but she does own Social Jargon, and Social Jargon is the one that donated to us. Also, Social Jargon did our website and
right. Yeah.
set
Ashley,
us up for the email blast.
Ashley's been
like
a big
that.
help. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit.
And then Jesse Mickelson.
Oh, Jesse, yes. Thank you again, Jesse. Yeah, I still work with Jesse, a great guy. So we appreciate all that and all our other supporters. And as always, you can find that widget on our website and through the mobile, the Buy Us a Beer app. So we really appreciate that. I'm ready to go here, man. Let's try to give Douglas a call.
All right, let's see what happens here.
This is a new thing we're trying out here, folks.
What's going on, buddy?
How are you, sir?
Good. Hold on. Let me put you on speaker here real quick.
Yeah, as long as we can hear you good. Stay close. You're on the podcast, obviously, buddy.
Doug, how you doing, my man?
Awesome. How are you?
Good, Doug. It's good to hear you again, my bud.
Yeah. Congratulations on 1 year.
Thank you, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I know I told you on the phone that we had some feedback, that people had some questions for you, but real quick before we get going, thanks again for being our first guest this year. And how did you feel? Did you enjoy that experience?
Oh, dude, I got such great feedback from it. Obviously I sent it to, I don't know, 100 and some people, but they were just like, God, it was just so interesting. I couldn't believe it. And, I don't know. I got a lot of good feedback, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, say as long as you enjoyed yourself. I know we still have laughs sometimes about you pulling on the Velcro on your shorts. For the people that haven't listened to that episode, that's the funnest part of that. We love that.
Yep. That's why I put my pajamas on, so I didn't have any Velcro.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, Nick and I talked about it a while ago too, saying how much it was fun, and we were glad John and I had just spoke a minute ago saying that what we really enjoyed about it, not only were we nervous and you were our first guest, but there were a few parts where even you kept us on track. And
nice.
We had appreciated that because we might have gotten off the rails. It might have soured us on the idea of having any more guests. So we appreciate you being our first guest and helping to stay kind of organized for that one. So we hope at some point you did want to maybe come back on and we'll get a little recap from you.
Oh, absolutely. That's called adult leadership.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and that's the thing, Doug. Like you were our pick for the interview of the year, man.
Yeah, you're the you're the interview of the year, buddy. That's why we want to call you today.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I just got you up to a proper volume here so the folks can actually hear you. Hopefully the audio wasn't bad there.
Just peaked in everybody's headsets.
Yeah, I know I prefaced that earlier. We had you narrowed down to a couple of people for this year, but yes, we just want to let you know, based on our experience and how much fun we had and the numbers, because yours was a highly listened to episode. We just want to tell you were the guest of the year this year for the podcast. So we wanted to thank you for that, buddy.
No, I'd love to. Thank you. I'd love to come back. I mean, it was just such a blast, and just trying to tell people how it is pretty cool. It's
right. It was so fun to talk to you, Doug, and find out what you were working on and the things that you've done and just your history, because I've known you for a while, but I really haven't known you. So it was really good to actually get to know you a little bit better. That was a lot of fun.
Yep. Well, that's cool. Cause I'm just, James can tell you, I'm just a laid back dude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, it came through. Yeah, it came through on the episode, buddy. Everybody really heard it. One quick question, man. Because we've had a few interviews, and I was just kind of curious from your perspective. Did you actually listen to it? Because some people don't. They don't want to hear it.
Oh no, I probably listened to it no less than 15 times.
That's why his numbers are so fucking high. His numbers are so
high. Good.
I'm trying to bump it up, man.
Yeah, that helps, buddy. Yeah, I wish that were true. It doesn't work exactly like that if you're on the same player all the time, but.
Yeah, the damn Czech robo-dialers would never call me back, and I try to make a contract with them.
I love it. Yeah. I love it, buddy. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. We won't keep you long, man, but we just want to tell you you were the guest of the year, and we're really glad to hear that you want to come back on. We'll schedule that for the new year.
I would absolutely love to come back on, because it's so, not only is it entertaining, but it's like I said, people get a different perspective, from different contractors or subcontractors or whatever. And Jason, you know me well, and John, you know me well. It's like I'm here to teach. I love teaching people. And if I can help out in any way, I'll help out, because it's not like it's not a secret. Success is not a secret. You just got to fucking try hard.
Man,
Amen to that.
I couldn't have said it better myself. That'll be the quote of the episode, buddy. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, that's fantastic, man. We're going to let you get back to your evening. Thank you for taking the time. Congratulations. John and I have a little gift here for you that I'll bring up to you the next time I see you in honor of this.
All right. We'll probably see you this weekend.
I have no doubt, sir. Thank you very much. And
right.
Thanks again for everything you did for the podcast, buddy.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm just happy to help you guys out, and I was happy to be on. Truly.
Thanks, Doug. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Good luck in the next year.
Thanks, buddy.
Will
Thanks.
do.
All right. See
Bye.
you. Bye.
Well, there it is, folks. So if you want to be the 2025 guest of the year, you're going to have to be a guest in the show. So speak up. For everybody else, again, don't be offended. We had to break it down to the numbers. It was the only way for us to pick.
Right.
So, well, that's good. So we got that in the books. A few other things here, buddy. Excuse me, folks. As I've mentioned recently, protein burps are a real thing. People have said they like the little side tangents that come up now and then.
Yeah.
Well, I got one for you, buddy, and I'm a little embarrassed. Okay.
Really?
I just recently realized through watching social media, I thought this was a unique to my household thing. My wife and I did have a great little pit bull named Pepsi. She did unfortunately pass away last year. I thought I was the only one saying big stretches every time my dog stretched, and apparently everybody does that. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big stretch. I thought we just figured that out. No, that's just an intuitive dog thing. I had no idea everybody does that. I've seen it on the internet a bunch of times, and I'm like, oh, I thought that was mine. No, that's not my idea at all. Everybody does that. Okay, great. Like, shit. So, tangent.
They say it's a sign when they do it in front of you that they love you and miss you.
Well, that's good. I hope that's the case. But yeah, man, I just thought that was something we intuitively came up in this household. Turns out, no, fucking everybody does that.
Everybody does it.
There you go. So we got through our guest there, buddy.
Right.
What do you think is... You got a favorite moment?
Ooh, a favorite moment.
Favorite moment.
I don't have a favorite moment. I don't.
Give me some highlights. For the people who get this later and then go back to listen to some other stuff after, go back to the previous episodes.
Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. We've talked about so many things in 52 episodes.
Yes, we have.
We have.
Repetitively sometimes.
It's hard to keep track of what we've talked about.
It is.
So I was looking through our episode list, right? I really enjoyed episode 8 of you trying to convince me to watch a sport.
I enjoyed that one too.
That was a lot of fun.
By the way, had no success, just as a follow-up.
Nope, not yet anyway. I got the worst feedback, most negative feedback on our EV rant on episode 11 because I went deep.
Calling EV owners pieces of shit is not ever going to go over really well with EV owners, I wouldn't think. I understand some of that negative feedback.
Well, well, truth hurts sometimes.
It definitely does, yeah. With me, it's been on more than one occasion people saying, why do you talk funny? Why do you pronounce things weird?
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it on previous episodes, but I'll reiterate real quickly is how an adult would say that. I'm from another country. I say things funny sometimes. Sorry. The fuck are you going to do? Like,
Sorry.
Yeah, it hasn't been any of the Canadians that went, you sound funny. It's always been American.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So what are you going to do?
Do your fellow Canadians ever tell you that you're talking too slow?
No. Although,
that's surprising.
I think they kind of understand that in this vein, we have to be at least remotely, audibly easy to hear.
Yeah.
So I think the podcast has helped me ongoing to slow down on a regular basis. Because
it has.
If you listen to enough episodes, folks, you can tell when I'm charged up because all of a sudden I get zippy.
Yep.
If
we had too much to drink.
Or if we had too much to drink or had a couple too many energy drinks because we started early on a Saturday or something like, yeah, you'll hear me when I get charged up. The speed goes up and it goes up real quick. Like,
right.
Yeah. So, I got to say, I enjoyed all our interview episodes. Those were really fun. The few times that we did disagree on things, those are always a really good time too.
That's one feedback that I get more often than not. Is people want to hear us banter back and forth and argue on shit. And there is a lot of times where it's really hard to do because we see eye to eye.
Right. So when we find things that we disagree about, we'll certainly dig in. And as always, we keep mentioning, if you have episode ideas you want to hear, they don't have to be about construction, although we probably can lean it that way in one way or another.
Oh, we can tie everything into construction.
Yeah. If you just want to hear us rant about something, you'll find something eventually we really disagree about, and that'll be that. So
yeah, if you want to hear a good one, go listen to the boots episode.
Yes.
About boots.
Yeah. The one about work boots is a good episode, actually. Yeah, that was one that was pretty good. So I got to say, also for me, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, the day that it dawned on me sitting in my kitchen cooking dinner that our podcast was on the internet, even though I already realized this, and I thought to go, hey, Alexa, play the I Shower After Work podcast, and it just popped up. It should have been an obvious revelation, but when it happened, I'm like, holy shit, like anybody can do that. So That was a fun moment for me. I've had some not fun moments.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the fact that, yes, this isn't all roses and candy. It takes some work sometimes. We both have to put some efforts in. We adjust our schedules. We skip some things we would have normally done because we were recording today and things like that. So we're happy to do it, folks. We appreciate everybody listening. Yep. Locally, I was at the chili feed in Ellsworth, Wisconsin here a few weeks ago. And, we're having a podcast, so I'm handing out stickers. I'm trying to get people to listen, folks. Like, we're trying to promote this thing as best we can. A lady walked right up and goes, "You're the guy from that podcast." Random woman. I'm like, I had a couple of friends standing there. My wife was standing there. I'm like, yeah, I am. She's like, isn't it weird being on TV? And it went from, that lady recognized me to, nah, she's talking about somebody completely different. If you're not familiar with the Gas Monkey Network, folks, look that up. It's like a super famous TV show podcast thing.
Yeah, the Gas Monkey.
Listen, it was hilarious to me.
You don't look anything like him.
No. Look, I got a photo right here, okay? If someone was half drunk at the chili feed, which is a motorcycle route, if you're a little tuned up, I kind of look a tiny bit like Richard Rollins.
Yeah. I mean, you got the full head of hair and the gray.
I got the slightly gray beard. Like, I kind of get it, right? So, But that went from like, oh, wow, somebody recognized me to, nah, she thinks I'm somebody else entirely.
I love you, dude, but you ain't got that kind of clout.
No, definitely not. Absolutely, definitely not. So that really cracked me up. But,
funny. What is some of the things that, like, what do you not like? Well, I mean, let's be completely open. What do you not like about doing this?
I don't like that I procrastinate in getting our social media posts out as often and as timely as I should. I hold myself responsible to that, and I get frustrated with myself that I procrastinate and don't do it like I should. As we committed to doing 52 episodes, and as I said, we're going to continue on, that's my one sort of disappointment and regret about everything over the last year is I wish I had been better at that, because I know it drives listeners and things like that. And I mean, it takes time, but it doesn't take crazy amounts of time to keep on that.
Right.
My commitment to the podcast in the next 52 episodes is going to be being more diligent about that, so that I don't have to feel bad. Because I have very often been like, fuck, I'm supposed to be doing that, and I'll get it tomorrow. You know what it's like, right?
Yep.
So that's been the thing for me. How about you, buddy? Is there anything that's been sort of a negative drive a little?
I'm on the same page with you. So I'm in charge of all the emails and the website stuff. And I have been dropping the ball, and I getting the calendar set up for people to schedule to be on our show.
Right.
And then reaching out to people. Networking, I feel bad because we haven't been doing that. And I told myself, I didn't really tell you, I told myself that I was going to do that reach out and network more. And I haven't. And especially with my time off, I kind of feel bad for not doing that. So that going forward, the next 52, that's where I'm going to lean into. I'm going to lean into more of that, getting networking done and things like that, or get networking set up for us to do.
Yeah, just something to boost things. That mine was a social media boost. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, being able to schedule one, that one makes sense. And I'm sure you'd say the same to me. Shouldn't feel bad about anything. We've done what we've done over this last year, and I'm happy with the successes we had.
Yeah.
Like anything, of course, we'd want more listeners. And on that note, we're going to throw in a shameless plug real quick. If you do nothing else today, if you're listening to this episode, you've been listening regularly every week, whatever it is, we appreciate it. Tell a friend. And I know we say real often, rate, review, and subscribe. It means nothing to you, and it helps these podcast episodes get generated out to more random people who may like it.
Yeah.
Take the time to do it if you're listening. It really helps us out a lot.
And I'll add to that, if you're on YouTube, YouTube uses a different algorithm. Listen all the way to the end, even if you tune us out. But give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, please.
And if you give us a thumbs down, I don't care. If you don't like it, we find out about it.
Right. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Any engagement. I mean, even if you have negative feedback, we have made changes to the podcast based on the feedback.
Yep.
You know, we know the things people like to hear. We know the things they don't like to hear. If it's a reasonable ask that they don't like, that makes sense. If it's an unreasonable ask because you're a pretentious shit, well,
we're going to tell you to piss off.
Right? I'm going to do one of the things right now that people say they like almost as much as anything else.
Oh, yeah.
People seem to love the sound of opening bottles and glasses because they know we're usually getting after it here.
Right.
So I do have one more real quick thing that you asked me about disappointment that I want to bring up, buddy, if it's okay.
Absolutely.
We have been at this for more than a year. We have definitely done the vast majority of our active episodes inside in one job trailer or another. Mm-hmm. So let's call it 52 almost indoors. And I still have yet to get coasters.
Yeah, neither one of us.
Folks, I'm using my pinky to gently set my glass down on this wooden table every time. I haven't got coasters in a goddamn year. I'm buying us coasters.
Let's talk about this. We have mice and for our laptops.
Oh yeah.
It's that way at both of our places.
You can get a mouse pad for $1 at any place, right?
But
like you probably got one.
I want it with our logo.
I kind of want one with our logo too. Right. Which also brings up an excellent point. We are in this next year going to be making some changes to try to make the podcast more fun and better. We may even start to do a couple of lives occasionally.
Yep.
We may even start throwing up some short video stuff just to keep things interesting for the YouTubes. Yep. But also, if you have any interest other than the basics, we know people like stickers. We know people like beer koozies. Even if you thought that you would be interested in having some sort of merch, not only can you tell us what sort of things you'd like, and you can just DM us or email us. All that stuff is on the website, isawpodcast.com. Yep. But we're certainly interested in taking that stuff to heart because we don't want to produce things that you aren't interested in. Yep. So if you're interested in that stuff, we've got our new logo up recently. It's going to be our permanent logo going forward. Yep. And if there's anything you could think of that you like, anything random, I know we got stickers and koozies, but I'm also getting motorcycle vest patches, and you don't want a sticker for your car or whatever. We can make it happen. You just let us know what you're interested in, and we're willing to compromise to that. So,
I will say, on that note, so I know if people look into our website or look into our podcast and look at their player, they see like 3 or 4 different logos. And believe me, it is a constant work in progress. But I have, and I've been in charge of that. I've designed the logo except for the first
one that your wife made, that Ashley made for us, right?
Yep. And she said that's a placeholder, and we both liked it and ran with it for a while, but it just didn't feel what we wanted it to feel like. And so now I want to toot my own horn.
Please, yes, yeah. You're responsible for this.
The new design I made.
Yep.
And I've got 2 different versions, one for merch stuff and one for everything else. I like them. I am happy with them.
I really love the new ones. We've got some new merch on the way for handing out that we bought. So I'm happy. I'm very happy with the work you put in. That is one thing you did in your time off with your surgery. Yep. That was very productive. That helped the podcast out. So I thank you, buddy.
And I will say I didn't do it solo. My buddy, Jeremiah E., he helped me. He gave me the idea of the microphone set on the new logo design.
Right.
He's like, can you do something like this? And I'm like that. And I sat there and I stared at my computer for like 15 minutes. I'm like, how the fuck do I do that? And then it came together and I'm all like, oh, just like that. Yes.
Yes. And again, as I've said early and often, folks, John is using a blowtorch when it comes to technology, and I'm clicking rocks together to try to make fire. So thank you all for that.
You're getting better.
I'm getting better. I'm trying. Yeah, that is one thing. I'm trying to get a little better with all this stuff. I might even get into recording a few short, small episodes of a new feature I've been considering over the last year that might just be me, might just be John, might just be both of us real quick, some short stuff to add to the week. So I'm going to have to learn how to edit a little bit. So if you notice there's certain episodes that the editing sucks, especially short ones, that's probably because I did it. Yeah. John's got it down to a science and I'm still learning. But so I have to mention, man, we have said all the time in the last year that we are podcast apprentices. I'm going to cheers you because we are now second year apprentices. We're moving forward. Second year podcast apprentices. We've moved up a year here. The pay doesn't go up any, but the benefits stay exactly the same. So what are you going to do?
Now, the one thing that I did get a lot of when we started, and it came from several different people, they were amazed at how good we sound. And I want to take a minute and just break things down a little bit for everybody of what we use. Because I've gotten that question asked a lot. Everybody, you may think that we're using these high-end microphones and these Shure SM7Bs that cost $400 a piece. We don't. Okay. We use, it's a product called Zoom. The company is called Zoom. We use a P4 recorder. We use their Zoom microphones.
Yeah, just so you know, there's no comparison to Zoom meetings.
Nope.
I know people have a negative connotation. Not Zoom meeting, just the company's name Zoom. Go ahead, buddy.
Yep. And then we use Zoom microphones. And we just recently upgraded to these IX Tech arms, which are way better than the mic stands. Oh my God.
Shout out to the people at IX Tech. Our new mic stands are fantastic. They're way better than the old ones were.
Yep. And we don't have a lot into this. Financial wise, we have a chunk, but it's not this ungodly amount. If you're wanting to start a podcast, you don't have to buy thousands of dollars worth of shit.
You don't have to go out and take a loan or anything to start this. You definitely don't know.
Now we have upgraded certain things, and if I had to put a number on it right now, I think we're probably sitting at about $1,500 full of shit.
For both of us.
For both of us.
Yeah, for Ben. We've got two setups here. One at the west side job trailer, one at the east side. Yeah. So I mean if you're interested in this sort of thing, John's right, it's not a huge financial commitment.
No, it isn't. And a lot of people have a lot of things to say, and frankly, a lot of people don't want to hear what we have to say, but I'm okay with that too.
Right. And for the people that do, God love yous.
Yeah. We love all the support.
And on that note, I know we shouted out Dave earlier for all the help he's been from the howtopodcast.ca series. But if anyone is listening, I know there's a couple listeners who thought about starting their own podcast or had a spouse who did, Matt O. Reach out. We're more than happy to push you in the right direction, give you some ideas of what worked for us, what didn't work. We're happy to be a support structure here if you think that people want to hear about whatever it is you want to talk about. You'd be amazed. If you search random podcasts, just dive deep into it for 15 minutes.
Right.
Man, there's a podcast about everything, and you don't know that your niche you're interested in talking about won't be interesting to other people.
Yep.
So definitely.
I was really happy to find another podcast. I'll just give them a shout out real quick. Two in a Blue. They're a couple of construction workers out of, I believe it's New York or Boston.
Okay.
That they're doing their thing too.
Very good.
Like, it was surprising to see.
Yeah, I'll say the podcast mentor series has been an interesting one for me. They're slightly shorter episodes, but the wealth of guests he's able to get from a variety of different places across construction, from insurance to project management to like everybody. It's really amazing. He's got a guest every week. Yeah, the podcast mentor series, or pardon me, the construction mentor series has been really interesting as well. So if you're looking for another one about construction, check that out. We really like those guys over there. Yep. So, buddy, what a year. I can't believe people listen, and I'm so happy they do.
I can't either. It's crazy.
Yeah, I never would have thought. My whole thing was, when I thought about this, from idea to reality has been a lot of work. It's been exciting. It's been fun. We've had some laughs, a lot of laughs. We've drank some good whiskey over the year. We've talked to some great people. Yep. We've had some positive, negative feedback. We've had all sorts of fun stuff. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? Is there any other little stories before the most important shout out that you can think about here, buddy?
Oh, God.
Anything about the year that really stands out?
You know, I got to give you props again, brother. Like, you came up with this idea, you brought it to me, and I'm all like, fuck yeah. which was a year before we even started recording.
Correct.
Right. So we've technically been doing it for a couple of years. No, not really. But I wouldn't have wanted to do this type of podcast with anybody else.
Same here, buddy. I mentioned earlier in our podcast, you were the first person to cross my mind, and you were the only person I talked to about it. When I thought this was going to come up, I thought you were the one to do it with, not only because we did have similar, but also sometimes different perspectives. But I thought you had the work ethic, and I've found out now that that's true, to commit to a project that takes some time that we could get out there to the public. So, and, shout out to the few people that have come over the year. It's one of the weirdest things is when another grown adult who comes over to you and says, I really like your voice. You guys have great voices for a podcast. It's a strange thing.
That's weird.
Especially to hear from another dude, right?
Right.
Like a couple of ladies I know have said that to me, a few actually, but when a few dudes come up and went, yeah, listen, we've been listening and we really enjoy the podcast, man. Like, you guys sound really great. It's like, you listen to my voice? Like, what? Like, it's just such a weird thing to hear, but shout out to everybody who said it, because once you sit back and think about it, it's a nice compliment, but it's weird to hear from another guy. So,
yeah, it is. And I heard that same thing, and it's just like, hang on a second. I'm like, wait. No, okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it came over across the vein like, hey, man, you're dressed really nice today. Like, what? Like, yeah.
Right.
So real quick here before we get into the very last most important shout out that we have this year. Thank you again to everyone who has listened, everyone who has financially supported us, everyone who has sent positive and negative comments. We're always looking for constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
Please continue to support us in the next year. We really love everybody for listening, and we just, I just want to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Words cannot describe it.
Yeah, I really can't. Yeah, it's a thank you, a deep, heartfelt thank you for everybody who's taken the time to listen to us this last year. Yep. And now what I think is the most important part here, and then we're going to let you folks get back to your day, whether you're working or listening at home here. I wanted to give a special shout out to the two people that were the most important in this the last year, other than John and I, because we're actually doing the damn thing. I would like to shout out my wife, Michelle, for all the patience that she's had with us during this last year. It has taken up some time. There's been lots of occasions where we want to be doing other things, and I had to apologize because I was going to record with John, or he was coming here, or I was working on social media or our podcast outlines in the evening. My wife has been a real pillar for this. She's been very supportive, extremely patient. I just wanted to say one time, thank you very much, Michelle. I love you very much.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll back that with saying thank you to Michelle. She is an absolute sweetheart. But I will take the time to shout out my lovely bride, Ashley. God, we love you. You've pushed and pushed and pushed in ways that have worked really well. You make sure that every time I say, hey, I gotta go do this, you're like, all right, cool. Like, or check in with me, or, hey, what you got going on this weekend? I'm recording with Jason. I'm going to head over. Okay. Let's do this later. Okay. Thanks, baby. So yeah, I do love you a ton. And thank you so much.
I'd like to shout out Ashley too. She's been helpful with our original logo. She's been helpful with ideas, suggestions, direction that we could go through. Her business with social jargon lets her know these things intimately. It's her business. She's really helped us out. I promise, Ashley, I'm coming to do the 8-hour training on social media so I can get better about it. I'm not ducking it. I swear I'm coming. We're going to do this. This is important to us.
You and I both need that.
Yeah, we both got to do that together. But yes, Ashley has been a technical and idea and direction support this last year that we wouldn't have had the success we've had without her help. So thank you, Ashley. We love you.
And we really wouldn't have it either without Michelle. Both of them, the ability that they have let us do this, and this is a pet project of ours. We ain't making money.
We're not making no money, folks. Like, right. Don't fool yourselves. Yeah.
We're hanging out. We're having a good time, but this is a pet project. This is a hobby, and we are really, really enjoying it. And they both have just understood that, and they backed us. And I couldn't love you, both of them, any more than I possibly can.
Oh, that sums it up, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, thank you, everybody who has listened to us over this past year. We can't thank you enough. Please continue to listen. Please share it with friends. We would love this little thing to grow. And again, we've got some we've got some ideas to do stuff here in the future, especially some live recordings maybe, where it'll just be in the moment. You might get to hear this completely unfiltered with no editing, no anything, and you might get to hear some wild stuff when those phone calls happen, or I should say those podcasts happen.
Right.
I unfortunately looked at the word phone call on my outline when I said that, folks. That's why that slipped out right there.
They could be a phone call. You never know.
Yeah, see, so that's how it goes. John, thank you so much for everything you've done for the podcast this last year. I really love you, brother. I've enjoyed all the extra time we spent together.
Right back at you.
So many fun laughs. I couldn't say it more. You got anything you want to say to the people before we wrap this up?
No, man. I'm gonna end with just, what we say all the time is, when it comes to everybody that does listen to us in the construction trades, your work keeps the world working. You gotta fucking understand that. You gotta believe it. You gotta lean into it, because we make the world go round.
Yeah, that's the reason we picked this as the motto for this show. I want to reiterate, your work keeps the world working. Yep. If you sit and think about that for a moment, if you knew nothing else about our podcast, that's what we want you to remember. So thank you all for everything you do out there, keeping the world running every day. And cheers, buddy.
Sláinte.
Happy anniversary, man. Sláinte. Please continue to listen, folks. And until next week, be safe out there. And
God bless.
God bless sounds perfect. Thank you, buddy.
All right, man.